Now, I probably wouldn't say this in front of white folk, but in front of y'all, I'm gonna speak my mind. Take it slow.
What's going on, good people? My name is Rell, and this is Rell Talk, the podcast. Don't forget to follow the show on iTunes and SoundCloud, and follow your boy on Instagram at raleighrell. Let's get into the show.
Hi, Facebook. I'm just reaching out to everybody because I'm just leaving church, and I prayed a lot about everything that's happened this week, and I can't stop replaying the image of these men being killed in my mind, and my heart weeps. But I think more than anything, I'm dealing with a bit of guilt because I don't feel sad for the officers that lost their lives, and I know that that's really not my heart. I value human life, and I want to feel sad for them, but I can't help but feeling like the shooter was a martyr. And I know it's not the right way to feel because nobody deserves to lose their lives. And I know that those police officers had families and people who loved them and that they didn't deserve to die. But I'm so torn up in my heart about seeing these men, these black men being gunned down in our community that I can't help. I can't help but feel.
What this woman said in this video was exactly my thoughts. You see, it's hard to explain, but as a black man living in America, watching what's going on with these two African American males killed back to back, and America turning their backs on us, saying that we kill each other. What about black on black crime? It's hard to dig deep and find care. When I found out that somebody was shooting in Dallas with a sniper rifle, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I didn't feel like, oh my God. I kind of felt like the chickens are coming home to roost. I felt like Nat Turner's revenge. And some people said that was cruel and that was heartless. But when I think back about looking at the images of my ancestors being hung at the fairgrounds or amongst a crowd of people, men, women, and children, there was no remorse in those people's eyes. Those people were laughing when my ancestors were being hung alive. So when I see that type of stuff, and then people say to me today, how can you not feel a sense of remorse? How can you not feel a sense of sorrow and sympathy? I think about my ancestors. And I think about, when they were hung from trees, drugged through the street, shot, stabbed, raped. And it's so hard to feel sorry for these innocent cops. I swear it is, because, as black people, we care for everybody. We literally care for everybody. But it's very hard to watch what is happening to us in America, and America is turning their back on us, telling us we're the problem. Racists are calling us racist for saying enough is enough. So it's really hard to watch that and then say, hey, I feel sorry for those cops, because those cops are a part of a system that seems to be designed to kill us and not face any consequences. I told a lady today, a white lady, she asked me, because she knows I have a young son, she asked me, what do you do this day and age with your son? How do you tell him? Do you shelter him from the news? Do you shelter him from the information? And I told her, I said, listen, black people in this country face a reality and an experience that no one else can relate to. And that within itself is very stressful, borderline depressing. When you see two African American males killed back to back on camera, and America says, what about black on black crime? That is stressful. That within itself will drive anybody crazy, because you say, do they not see that we look like them? Do they not see we have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, a nose, just like them? Because they treat injustices towards us like it's nothing. When the brother got killed in Minneapolis, on video, they treated his lady like a criminal. They wouldn't have done that to a white woman whose husband they just killed. They wouldn't have done that. They would have had the crisis team on the scene immediately, because that's what you do when something happens that is very traumatic. But they literally treated this woman like a criminal. So I cannot feel sorry for that. When you see the video of those 2 rogue officers tackling the brother down in Baton Rouge, it's hard to feel sympathy for that when somebody says enough is enough. I too feel like the brother was a martyr. He believed in something and he said, I'm willing to die for it. I can't keep taking this. I'm not here to say whether it was right or wrong, but I'm here to say it was so necessary because somebody has to wake people up. This type of thing goes on in other countries all the time with police. We've seen the videos and the images a few years back in China where the cop killed somebody and they killed 2 cops in the street. Public assassination. Now, I'm not saying we should get to that point, but I'm saying we have to let people know that we will not stand for this anymore. And we can't, honestly discuss them being accountable without us being accountable. We need our own news. We need our own media. We need literally our own radio stations. Not stations that are owned by white people, but play urban music. I'm talking about talk radio all day. Because people like myself, Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Boyce Watkins, a brother Yurima Karama, we are the only ones really giving the real poignant information that people really want to hear and that are not backed by white media. I know there are other people. I'm sure there are people that I didn't name, but that's because I don't know who they are. Let me know so I can start watching and listening to them. Because I don't know everything. But what I do know is that we have to start controlling our narrative. We're allowing people to control our narrative, and it's not fair because what's happening is things are happening to us, and then immediately something happens right after, and the attention is completely off of what happened to us. The day those Dallas officers were killed, the attention was taken off of this brutal assassination of this brother in Minneapolis. They're not even talking about that anymore. This officer should have been arrested by now, but he's not. The attention has switched to whether Black Lives Matter is responsible and whether Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group. I'm not going to say Black Lives Matter too just to make white people feel comfortable. Because the day that white Americans are being gunned down in the streets by police and the police are not going to jail for it, then I'll say their lives matter. But today and forever, for as far as I'm concerned, I'll say that Black lives matter. It's very difficult. And me and a friend of mine was talking, there's no way on God's green earth I will bring a baby into this world right now. There's no way I would raise a child that's not already here in this world. America is not kind and has never been kind to African Americans. I said that before and I totally stand by that. Have there been some good things done? Sure it has. But as a whole, the way we're being treated right now is no surprise and is nothing new. Technology is just new. So to watch this sister, she's a ex-Miss Alabama, the first Black Miss Alabama. To watch her get on camera and cry breaks my heart because a lot of African Americans won't say it, but that's how most of us feel. It's hard. It's difficult to reach down inside and find sympathy because when it happens to us, there is no sympathy. There is no sympathy. They start digging up past criminal records. Seeing what they couldn't do with the brother, Philando Castile, was making him out to be a monster. This brother was as clean as a whistle. Loved by his students, loved by his co-workers, loved by everybody. And they took his life. Took his life and arrested his lady in front of a 4-year-old. There are no excuses. There are no passes for that kind of behavior when you're an officer of the law supposed to protect and serve. I said this once and I'll say it again. An officer's job is not to get home safely. His job is to protect and serve. You want to get home safely? Cool. But you didn't sign up to get home safely. You signed up to protect and serve the community. And for some reason, the argument is, hey, listen, the cop has the right to shoot somebody when they even suspect there being a weapon because he has to go home safely. No, my friend, that's not the job. You cannot take down every threat with lethal force. I heard a cop say at a community forum one time that they are not trained to wound. They are trained to kill. So if you know that you're trained to kill, why would you kill at the drop of a dime? I remember back in the day, an officer would bail out, peel, take off running down the street, get behind his car, take cover, pull a taser out. But now it's no. Now I'm pulling out my gun and I'm shooting you. Point blank. They shot that brother in the chest, man. The gun was literally on his chest when they shot him. He didn't have a chance to survive. They didn't try to save his life. They didn't try to save Philando Castile. The officer continued to point his gun at the brother and then chastise his lady. We can't stand for that kind of behavior anymore, people. We just can't do it. We absolutely cannot do it. I'm sorry. If y'all want me to come on here and be politically correct, I'll never do that. I will never, ever do that. This is Rell Talk, the podcast, for a reason. I say what's on my mind, how I want to say it. Point blank, period. As I said in the last show, we got to shut it down. All right, we got to stop spending money with folks that don't look like us. Run them out of our neighborhoods. Don't spend a dime with them. Put them out of business so somebody black can step in there and take over the business. And we need to get our guns. We need to arm ourselves. We need to. It's absolutely imperative that we arm ourselves. Because for some reason in the black community, at some point in time, we develop this non-violent mentality. I heard somebody say one time that I don't need a gun in my house because my Bible will protect me. Okay, I hear you. Let's get our guns. Let's protect our families. Let's protect ourselves. Watching this woman cry is like watching my wife cry. I don't know what my wife thinks when I leave the house, but I'm sure it's not too far from what she thinks. Is my husband coming home? Is my son okay out there by himself? I'm sure my mother thinks the same thing. Are her sons safe? Is her son getting pulled over? Because it's to the point now where every time an African American gets pulled over, it's a horror story. He doesn't know if he's going to come out of that alive. We've all seen the video of the black guy with the cowboy hat telling you, don't put your wallet in your pocket. Keep your ID on the dash behind the steering wheel. That's ludicrous. You're telling us to conform to being profiled so we won't get killed. I get your point, but it's absolutely ludicrous, my brother. We should be treated like everybody else when we get pulled over. I've seen some videos of white males getting pulled over and who have been absolutely irate with the officers, and the officers have done nothing but try to calm them down. But with African Americans, they want to put hands on us. They want to show force. We can't take that anymore. Enough is enough. And I say right now, that brother was a martyr. He believed in something. And he said, you know what? I'm willing to die for it. Are you? Y'all go be great. Thank y'all for listening to Rell Talk, the podcast.